sir, for all the great work that your team does. These events aren't easy. That team at MCA is lean and mean, as you expect, being in a battalion or being in a squadron. A lot of collateral duties. So one day you may be the editor and publisher of the Gazette. The next day you're leading the working party, setting up the tables for this event. That's how they work. Way to go, sir. I love it. Thank you. Also, the President's Own here tonight. It was great having them here. Special to get them, obviously, a little inside job there with General Sherrati to make that happen. But it's always great. They add so much to our event, and we need to thank them so. And I can't stop thank yous without Leanne Mitchell. She makes this go year after year, and her integration with our team is seamless. Major Guzme and the team in the front office. Stand up again, y'all, back in that seat back there. There we go. Yeah, there they are. That's why we come to work every day. So thank you, Leanne, and thank you for making what seems very, very difficult appear to be not so, though we know how hard it is. I want to thank our industry partners. You provide what we have tonight, but you do more. You do more, especially in this business that's technology focused. You know, I know, everybody in this room knows that whatever we think today about technology, wait next week, next month, 90 days from now, because the shit's all going to change, right? Technology's moving fast, especially in this world of cyber and software and C4 and space. Like, don't get stuck in a rut or you're going to lose, and lose big. For Marines, it starts in space. It's the manna from heaven, right? And it's going to end up in some Marine, someplace, in some heinous place with good placement and access that's going to make all the difference. Our Marines matter most, but that technology makes them supermen and superwomen. So thanks to our industry partners, and thanks what you're doing for us tonight. We're lucky to have our very own Lieutenant General Dimitri Henry here. So I was going to say, hey, D, I know you're the oldest Marine in the Marine Corps. That joke's getting old, bro. And if he isn't the oldest Marine in the Marine Corps, he's the wisest. That's that. Case settled. But it's great having D here. Obviously, very busy man. A lot going on in the world. If you don't know that, it's a crazy world out there. And just like the technology changing, what's going on out there changes all the time. As the Director of Intelligence for the Joint Staff, he's got a lot of big bosses, to include the Secretary and the Chairman, and they keep him on they keep him close, and he's always on that damn phone ready to respond. So we're so lucky, and thanks for breaking free tonight. It wasn't an easy night to be here, but I appreciate it. We also have some other directors of intelligence here, and I just want to call them out because it's great having them. General Lake's at the table tonight, Old Durant. Also, General Lake did a lot of other things, of which we cannot talk about in this room, but certainly an operator and has made all the difference. Our very own Mike Rowan, also a DJ2 and a Durant, also the director of the Joint AI Center. So Mike, I know you're right in one of these seats. There he is. It's great having him. Of course, we got Jerry Carter. I said it right, Jer. Right, Durant. Up at NSA doing the living the dream up there. Who knows? Maybe he'll be at this podium next year. All good. So it's great having all those prior Durants here. Also, we got some directors of C4 in the house. General Matos, Jay Matos is here. Also the CG of Mar 4 Cyber. I got a quiz on that here in a second. We got our very own Lieutenant General Dennis Krall, right? Not only the director of C4, but also DJ6 on the Joint Staff. So Dennis also a Marine Air Command and Control Officer. If you didn't know that, the first one to make it to the rank of General Officer. So fortunate to have Dennis here. Of course, Brigadier General John Thomas is here. Always a great friend of the Marine Corps, sir. It's great having you. Here's the quiz. And if you get it right, Woody Woodbridge is going to give you a bottle of bourbon. Here it is. Who was the first commanding general of Marine Corps Forces Cyberspace Command? Bottle of bourbon. There he is. I win. General George Flynn is in the house, sir. It's great having you. You're like one of us. Sir, you're just like one of us. Forget that artillery stuff. So it's great having you. We got a lot of other really testimony to what we're doing here. A lot of MEF commanders here. I know that's odd, but But having General Tulin here, sir, I know you can kick everybody's ass still, so it's great having you at our table protecting us. Also, General Osterman, I think, made it in. Jody's here. Sir, great seeing you. A great advocate for 1MIG and getting them up and running our 1MEF information group, man before his time. And of course, General Gluck is here. Hell of a 46 pilot back in the day, sir, at HMX-1. It's great having you. General Shuttler, dear friend of mine, General Shuttler. General Shuttler has forgot more about cyber than I have ever learned. Back in the 90s, when this thing was a glimmer of light somewhere, he was thinking long and hard about not only what cyber meant, but what it meant to warfighting. Wrote about it, wrote models on it, and sir, thanks for passing that on to me. When I got orders to U.S. Cyber Command, I think he was the only one excited. But sir, thank you, and thanks for all the mentorship over the years. We got so many other folks. General Reist is here. Sir, I appreciate everything you and General Flynn did for our 29th Commandant. It was, you all did it with such dignity and respect and made sure that the man, the living, the legend that he was, and even in passing, was so honored. So, sir, thank you, and General Flynn, you as well, sir, for leading that event. I don't think Will Wilburn made it, but he's our latest and greatest. He's probably up at JTF Aries. We got Jay here, and he's up doing the work, sir, fighting the fight, but we miss him. Angus Walsh, Turnin, Systems Command. This technology thing is real. How we do stuff in the past to acquire things for our Marines, going to change, got to change, right? The days of 3 to 5 years got to turn into 3 to 5 days. Like, that's how fast we're moving, and Angus is just the right guy to turn it all around. Of course, I got my G3 here, J.R. Clearfield. J.R., it's great having you and Erica here. I didn't think you were going to make it. Thought a few things busy going on in the Pentagon today. And finally, I want to thank Sinclair Harris, our ultimate amphibious sailor. Sink not only commanded amphibious readiness groups, but he commanded expeditionary strike groups. So, Sink, it's great having you as a friend from the Navy here as well. Finally, Layla Gardner. So last year this time, Layla was the Assistant Director of Intel. Awesome. We have since promoted her, and she has risen another level, and she is now the Assistant Deputy Commandant for Information. Layla, congratulations, and it's great having you in the middle of the fight. So we're going to talk about some of these special people that have gone before us and made this night possible for us. Last year, we introduced Lieutenant Colonel Kevin M. Shea, Chair for Information at Navy Postgraduate School. I think many of you remember that. We have since hired an amazing person to do that. Dr. Chris Paul from the RAND Corporation came over to take that spot. I just talked to him today, matter of fact. But what was missing last year was his daughter. You see, Brenna's a V-22 pilot, and she was getting ready to go on the Baton Amphibious Readiness Group to deploy. And as we were putting this together, I said, hey, is she going to be back? Because it would be great to acknowledge her and her service and what she meant to us and her family. And of course, it was close. If you didn't know, the Baton Arg, the 26 MU, got extended twice. And they got back about a month ago, so we had a little room to spare. But it's so great having you here and your husband, Nolan. So if you could stand, and we could acknowledge you for your service and all the great stuff you do, Brenna. So our 29th Commandant passed, and though he lived many lives, literally, and all the work that he did, probably I got to know him best of all places up at Fort Meade. So he was on the board of directors at NSA for the 5 years that I was there. And and he was an active, proactive person. If you didn't know, a lot, the award that we have for him is because he contributed so much to what we do in DCI. Obviously, he was a Marine before his time, but what he did for signals intelligence, what he did to support the stand-up of our radio battalions, and also the stand-up Marine Cryptological Support Battalion is we owe it all to our 29th Commandant. A special Marine in every way. And as we wrote MCDP 8, We hinged on every word from MCDP-1, as you know, the cornerstone of who we are as Marines. And thanks to our 29th Commandant, he'll always be with us based on that document. So we'll miss him dearly, but a big round of applause for him as he's doing other things. Of course, we're honoring another special Marine tonight. Certainly, what we did in standing up our MEF information groups, standing up the Deputy Commandant for Information, and the start of the Marine Corps ISR enterprise, the start of MAR4 Cyber, we owe that all to a single gentleman. And he's standing right behind me back there, but Lieutenant General Vince Stewart. We call him the godfather of intel, the godfather of cyber, and he was omnipresent. And so as I stepped into this world, he was the guy that, dragged me along. And it was almost daily that in my contraption, in my office, I would see the Deputy Commander Cybercom icon pop up, and there he would be, right? Whatever I was thinking, whatever I was going to do, he was going to make sure that I was going to do it right. And even when I came into this job, the first thing I did was have Vince into the office, had lunch, and we talked about it, talked long and hard about it, and what it's going to take to make all this happen, and how we bring all this together. At the end of the day, when we talk about targeting, we talk about C5 ISRT. So if we're going to prevent that from happening to us, we better be talking about C5 ISRT. And so the vision of Vince as the one who really got this going, we are so, so fortunate. Vince was a special Marine. And we'd like to share a quick video on what Vince meant.
He started as a combat arms officer, an armor officer, a tanker. And I think he carried that memory with him throughout the rest of his career in intelligence, because he knew what it was like to be on the receiving end of intelligence, good or bad.
With Vince, it was different. Even at that time when he was a young major, he understood the big picture.
We are the indispensable source of defense intelligence, without which I believe the United States cannot fight and win future wars. But our role is crucial to the safety of the United States and the ideals it embodies.
He will get the legacy of being the godfather of fusion.
I think Vince's appreciation of all sources of intelligence and the need to better bring those together, a word we call fusion. At the time Vince Stewart was bringing that to the Anbar province, it was relatively immature, and his innovative ideas and drive really implemented a degree of fusion that we hadn't seen before. Vince's leadership characteristics really came out when he became the Director of Intelligence at Headquarters Marine Corps, and he was driving some significant changes to the intelligence community.
I can tell you that my people are among the best at what they do, which is absolutely critical in today's information environment. Our work saves lives and protects Americans around the world. Older generation, we got to share the knowledge, we got to share the wisdom, we got to share the history, we got to provide the context. But boy, I need you all to help these young men and women think differently, act differently, pursue different ideas, challenge conventional wisdom, and create an environment that they can ingest, digest, and deliver content that is valuable.
And I think Vince epitomized that during his whole life, always faithful to his country, his beloved Marine Corps, and certainly always faithful to his family.
If you speak to Vince Stewart for more than a few minutes, you'll learn all about his family and how much time he spends with his family and how important Phyllis is to him as a partner, as an advisor, as a confidant, and he takes tremendous joy in his children and their families as well.
His honor, courage, and commitment are things that just those, attributes just define him. It's who he is and it's what he does. And it's the way he looks at the world.
Always remember, on the good days and the bad days, both in generous and unforgiving jobs, what you do matters. This great experiment of our country matters. The ideals you serve matter. So I ask, what are you doing to further the American dream? Lift someone up. Elevate one coworker. help one individual make the dream real, encourage someone, mentor someone, guide someone, and do it for someone who doesn't look like you. We cannot fail. We will not fail. There's simply too much at stake. We say once a Marine, always a Marine. That is true for me, so hoorah!
And it's so appropriate tonight, and my distinct honor and privilege, to introduce the Director of Joint Intelligence of the Joint Staff, Lieutenant General Dimitri Henry.
Hey, good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Hey, when I was told that I was wanted to attend and actually present an award, I was taken aback because the award is actually the one named after Lieutenant General Stewart, in honor of Lieutenant General Stewart. And I was not supposed to be the guest of honor. I was supposed to be just sitting there, and and I've been talking to my staff about it. And I told my staff, I said, I better prepare because something always happens and guests of honors fall out, and so I'm close and I'll be able to come. And it did happen. The guest of honor wasn't able to come, and as usual, I still did not prepare. This is what I have right now. My team actually put a book here that I'm supposed to take a look at, so I will do that. But I'll tell you what I wrote down. I wrote down Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, Fred McGriff and Scott Rowland. And I was going to try to build something off of that. And the reason why I wrote those two names on one is Fred McGriff's a good friend of mine. I was able to go see him be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. Pretty classy guy, very solid, good leader. And me and him, believe it or not, talk about leadership a lot. So that was somewhat unusual. I don't like baseball at all. He knows that. He knows that. And I think that's why he and I kind of hit it off. But I had never met Scott Rowland. And it was something Scott Rowland said at his induction ceremony that kind of got me thinking of how I should frame the discussion here and then move out of the way so that we can honor the Marines and civilian Marines who have earned these awards behind them. But Scott was telling a story. One thing, it was hot as sin there. It was up northern New York, where I thought it would be cool. It was probably about 90-something degrees. We were sitting out in the middle of the field outside Cooperstown. Anyway, I'm melting, and I'm watching them, and they're in an air-conditioned area up on the stage. And so I'm pretty close. But Scott Rowland started talking, and the thing that reminded me of where we are now as a Marine Corps and where we have to go is he said that he was talking to his dad when he was 18 years old, getting ready to go to college to play baseball. Now, if you don't know him, he was also like a 3-star athlete. He could have probably made it in basketball as well. He grew up in Indiana, and they were, state champions. And to be a state champion in Indiana is a pretty big deal anywhere, actually, but in Indiana specifically. But he said that he had been practicing for baseball this whole spring, and he was getting ready to go and play baseball. And some basketball group said, "Hey, we want you to come back, play on the team, and help us win this title or whatever it was." And he had not played basketball. He said he hadn't picked up a basketball in about 6 months. And they were playing at a high level. And so he said, "Well, I need to call my dad and ask my dad what to do." So his dad, waited for the call, finally got it. His dad was sitting in the audience, and you can see his dad nodding his head, confirming the story. And He said, Dad, I've lost everything that I could do in basketball. And his dad said, you lost everything? He goes, well, no, I can still hustle. I can still, assist, but I don't shoot as well as I used to. And, he kept complaining about what he couldn't do. And at the end, he goes, his dad went silent. And he goes, Dad, you still there? He goes, yeah. And his dad asked him one simple question. He said, what can you do? And he told him a couple of things he could do. One of them was hustle. The other one was assist. And the other one was play and be on a team and act like a teammate. He said, I make a good teammate. And his dad told him, said, then go do that. And so, and Scott became a professional baseball player, and he went and did what he could do. For us, in this room right now, the Warriors sitting here with their families and friends, we're at a point now where we just have to go do. And all of you sitting there, I've heard all the discussions, I've read the Gazette articles, I've seen the back and forth. We need to know what we're doing. We're trying to get there. The one thing that we know is we have to go do. Marine Corps always goes and does what it needs to do. So I did write something down. My team helped me put this together. I'm going to open the book up. But we have to go do. The DCI, Skirt Lady just talked about it. All the different capabilities that are represented in this room tonight is what's going to help the Marine Corps, in fact, the Joint Force, fight and win in a contested environment in any place, in any domain. If you don't do the things that you need to do as a Corps to develop this capability, this thing we call the Information Environment Enterprise, Marine Corps Information Environment Enterprise, of which you compose, then the Marine Corps will not be in position to fight and win a future conflict. I can guarantee you that. I've already seen the results of those who take technology and adapt it and change the way they fight on the battlefield. The Ukrainians are a good example. And we're learning a lot from them, certainly across the Joint Force and certainly across the Marine Corps. So if you'll give me a little bit of time here to set this book up, it's just three things I want to talk about that the Commandant talked about in his Frago 0124. So the Commandant talks about who we are, right? Everybody's read Frago 01 2024. He talks about who we are. He talks about we're warriors first. We come from the sea. We're disciplined. We do all the things that are expected Marines to do. We have high standards. And those are the same things that you do in this community, this enterprise that you have. Except the things that you do help to ensure that your fellow Marines, those flying overhead, those sailing on the sea, those are on the ground, are able to fight and win. The information, the intelligence, the communications, the electromagnetic spectrum, all of those things that put together under the hat of the DCI are the things that are going to help us win and fight better in the future. And without that, without you as an organization that the DCI encompasses, if you don't see yourself as a team amongst teams, because you're part of the Marine Corps, the warrior ethos is here in this room just like it is at the ground dinner, just like it is at aviation and any other awards dinner. But the function that you perform provides us advantage. If you do what you do best, if you're an intel officer, if you're cyberspace, if you're C4, and everything else that makes up our information-related capabilities, if you get that right, you give us an advantage. You give the decision makers like my boss, the chairman, and his boss, and our boss, the Secretary of Defense, time to make a better decision, and in time to give the President of the United States a chance to make a better decision. And it all starts with a group of people that represent this entire organization that we call the Marine Corps Information environment enterprise. And if you don't see yourselves as an organization like that, as an enterprise, then you will hurt the Marine Corps in the later years, because we will have not put ourselves together in a way that's going to give us the advantage that the Commandant talks about in that fragment. That's who we are. That's who the Marine Corps needs us to be. And if you don't see that, then you need to make sure that you leave here and figure that out. And I'm sure there's a lot of folks here that can help you figure that out. The other thing that the Commandant talked about was how we fight. We fight from the sea as a task organized, man-trained, equipped, led by the best leaders that the Marine Corps can put in front of our formation. And we've been doing that for a long time. For me, it's been 43 years in uniform, and I'm not the oldest Marine in uniform, by the way, just to be sure. And for the head table, ladies not included, at the head table, if you cut the age in half, it'd still be greater than any of the other tables combined. It's a lot of oldness sitting down there. I'm just saying. But all joking aside, the Commandant, I think, continues to get it right? The greatest thing that we have are sitting in this room right now, and that's the Marines and civilian Marines that make up the Marine Corps. And while technology is going to move and outpace us, it's the Marines' adaptation of that technology. It's the Marines' ability to think about warfighting, think about maneuver, think about all of those things that we know we need to do in order to outpace the threat, and then put all that together and in a combined arms way in all domains to give us an advantage that we wouldn't have otherwise. If technology is a deciding factor, we probably wouldn't win for a lot of reasons. One of them is the one that I know Mark Horsiscom is trying to get brought down, and that is our inability to move at the pace of technology change. I mean, I love technology, but I still have a phone that's 4 years old. I think some of you, maybe most of you, get a new phone every year. I don't get a new phone every year, not because I'm cheap. My senior enlisted advisor, she's sitting here somewhere. She might say it's because I'm cheap. That's not true. It's because the phone that I have, I'm able to do the things that I need to do with it and actually master that phone. I mastered that phone. I don't want to have to change it on a drop of a hat. But the technology that's out there now, people like me, I'm not the person who's going to realize how to use that technology best. The folks that are going to do that are the ones who are being awarded tonight, along with their civilian counterparts. They're the ones that's going to lead us to a place where we will continue to have the advantage that Marines always bring to the table. And I can tell you, just from a joint force perspective, I get to see the joint force and understand what the joint force is doing. Not just the Marine Corps, it has young folks that are able to take an idea and turn it into some warfighting capability that moves us forward faster than the enemy. The other services are doing the same thing. And it's because of that we are able to put the Marine Corps capability alongside the other four services, and we come up with a capability that's unmatched in the history of warfare. We can lose all of that if we forget how we fight and who we are. The Commandant knows that, and that's why the Commandant chose those themes, so we can understand who we are and why we exist, to fight and win. So what's neat about tonight, besides me getting off the stage, is that you have all the information-related capabilities that the Marine Corps has at its disposal represented here tonight. If you really think about what you could do with that capability, if you decided as an enterprise to actually do the things that enterprises do, act and function like an enterprise, and if you don't know what an enterprise does, go look it up, figure it out. Enterprise has standards, just like our Corps. Enterprise has processes, just like our Corps. The enterprise has ways of doing things so that when everything is failing, no matter where you are in the world, part of this enterprise, you will be able to understand what you need to do next, because that's what you prepare to do as an enterprise. When one part of the enterprise is not working satisfactorily, another part of the enterprise recognizes it and is able to step up and fill the breach until the other part of the enterprise is ready to right itself and move forward. And in a contested environment where logistics are hampered, everything else, it is going to be this community that is going to give the Marine Corps the warning that it needs in order to prevent disruption of our logistics, to prevent disruption of our movement as the force is closing on an objective. And more importantly, it's this community that's going to help the Marine Corps realize that when they take a risk, what the risk really means. Whether I need a battalion on the objective or can I take a squad and do the same thing. If I had the awareness, if I had the understanding, I understood the environment in a way that would allow a commander to make that decision, then you can maximize your force when you need to maximize the force and minimize it otherwise. That is what's going to help us win in the future operating environment, where large mass formations will be destroyed because they're visible and seen. And mass formations need energy, need all kinds of things to make it function. But small, mobile, well-armed, well-informed organizations will be able to do the same thing and bring fire from all the other capabilities that the Marine Corps has and that the Joint Force has to help it. And the folks that we are going to honor today or tonight are the folks that are going to lead us there and the folks that have gotten us there thus far. So with that, I just want to say first, Skirt, thanks for letting me do this. Where's J.R. Clearfield? Where's Clearfield? He told me 243 words is what the Gettysburg Address was. It took like 2 minutes. And I said, I'm going to give you 20 Gettysburg Addresses, and you'll love it. But anyway, hey, ladies and gentlemen, that's all I have. I hope you understand where I'm coming from. As Scott Rowland would say, go do. And for the professionals that we're getting ready to honor tonight, I look forward to shaking your hand and meeting your families as we get you presented with these awards. So thank you very much. Hopefully you will have a great evening after this is over.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Information Awards Ceremony, where we will recognize the superb performance of the Marines, civilian Marines, and units from the information community. Joining Lieutenant General Henry on stage is Lieutenant General Glavy and Lieutenant General Shariati for the presentation of the Information Awards. We would also like to welcome to the stage the Marine Corps Assistant Director for Intelligence, Mrs. Layla Gardner, and the Intelligence Senior Enlisted Advisor, Master Gunnery Sergeant Kurt Benversi, to assist with the presentation of the Intelligence Awards. Our first award this evening is the Lieutenant General Vincent R. Stewart Intelligence Unit of the Year Award. Representing Mantech, we would like to invite to the stage Colonel Sean McBride, United States Marine Corps, retired, for a presentation of the Lieutenant General Vincent R. Stewart Intelligence Unit of the Year Award. The recipient of the Intelligence Unit of the Year Award is Marine Operations Group Central. Accepting the award is the Commanding Officer, Lieutenant Colonel Paul Kroom, and Assistant Operations Officer, Chief Officer 2, Jeffrey Keller. From Lockheed Martin, I would now like to invite Lieutenant General Gluck, Jr., United States Marine Corps, retired, for the presentation of the Lieutenant Colonel Michael Kazuski Marine Corps Intelligence Officer of the Year Award. The recipient of the Lieutenant Colonel The recipient of the Lieutenant Colonel Kozuski Award is Major Ian P. College from 1st Marine Raider Battalion, Marine Raider Regiment, Marine Corps Special Operations Command. I would now like to invite Mr. Audie Cooper from JTech, a joint venture of Mantech and JCTM, on stage for presentation of the John Gunther Marine Corps Intelligence Civilian of the Year Award. The recipient of this year's Gunther Award is Ms. Rachel C. Berger from Marine Corps Intelligence Activity, Marine Corps Information Command. I would now like to invite Mrs. Raji Bezwada, founder and CEO of JCS Solutions, for presentation of the Master Gunnery Sergeant Samuel Plott Marine Corps Intelligence Staff Non-Commissioned Officer of the Year Award. The recipient of the Master Gunnery Sergeant Plott Award is Gunnery Sergeant Danelle N. Bear, Defensive Cyberspace Operations, Internal Defensive Measures, Company A, 6th Communication Battalion, Force Headquarters Group, Marine Corps Forces Reserve. I would like to invite Mr. Shane Todd from L3 Harris on stage to help present the Master Sergeant Charles Arndt Intelligence Non-Commissioned Officer of the Year Award. The recipient of the Master Sergeant Arndt Award is Sergeant Carson D. Carr, Company I, Marine Cryptologic Support Battalion, Marine Corps Information Command. This year's Lance Corporal James E. Swain Enlisted Intelligence Marine of the Year Award is sponsored by Innovative Reasoning and is represented by Mr. Steve Mays. The recipient of the Lance Corporal Swain Award is Corporal Jude D. Dooley, Marine Unmanned Aerial Vehicle Squadron 3, Marine Aircraft Group 24, 1st Marine Aircraft Wing, Marine Forces Pacific. Thank you, Mrs. Gardner and Master Gunnery Sergeant Benversi. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the Acting Director of C4, Colonel Matthew Simmons, and C4 Senior Enlisted Advisor, Master Gunnery Sergeant Corey Sangster. Our next presentation is the Lieutenant Colonel Kevin M. Shea Memorial Unit of the Year Award and is awarded to a communications unit or section. Once again, I'd like to invite our sponsor, Mr. Shane Todd from L3 Harris and representing the Shea family. Please welcome to the stage Mrs. Amy Shea and Captain Brenna Shea, United States Marine Corps, for the presentation of the Lieutenant Colonel Kevin M. Shea Memorial Unit of the Year Award. The winner of the Lieutenant Colonel Shea Award is Communications Company, 3rd Marine Littoral Regiment, 3rd Marine Division, 3 Marine Expeditionary Force, Marine Forces Pacific. Accepting the award on behalf of Communications Company is Captain David Noble. The next award this evening is the General Alfred M. Gray Award for a Marine Captain serving as a communications officer. I would like to invite the CEO of the Potomac Institute for Policy Studies, Dr. Jen Buss, for a presentation of the General Alfred M. Gray Award. The winner of the General Gray Award for Outstanding Communications Leadership is Captain David L. Estes, 3rd Marine Littoral Regiment, 3rd Marine Division, 3 Marine Expeditionary Force, Marine Forces Pacific. I would now like to invite Mr. Eddie Pina, CEO of Lynchpin Solutions, for presentation of the Chief Warrant Officer 5, Brian Joe Granero, Restricted Officer Communications Award. The winner of the Chief Warrant Officer 5 Granero Award is Chief Warrant Officer 4 Joshua D. Stone, 3rd Marine Littoral Regiment, 3rd Marine Division, 3 Marine Expeditionary Force, Marine Forces Pacific. I would now like to invite Mr. Eric Backwell of Catalyst Solutions, LLC, for presentation of the James Hamilton Information Technology Management Civilian Marine of the Year Award. The winner of the James Hamilton Award is Mr. Michael W. Russell, Marine Corps Cyberspace Operations Group, Marine Forces Cyber Command. I'd like to invite to the stage Mr. Bill Callahan from Intelsat and Mr. Vinny Cordaro from SES Space and Defense for presentation of the Littleton Non-Commissioned Officer Award for Operational Communications Excellence. The winner of the PFC Littleton NCO Award for Communications Excellence is Corporal Justin D. Franklin, Headquarters Battalion, 3rd Marine Division, 3 Marine Expeditionary Force, Marine Forces Pacific. The next award is the PFC Littleton Staff Non-Commissioned Officer Award for Operational Communications Excellence and is sponsored by Collins Aerospace. The winner of the PFC Littleton Staff NCO Award for Communications Excellence is Staff Sergeant Warren M. High, 3rd Marine Raider Support Battalion, Marine Raider Support Group, Marine Forces Special Operations Command. Unfortunately, Staff Sergeant High is unable to join us tonight, and we accept his award on his behalf. Our next award is sponsored by FCN IT and is represented by Mr. John Weinch for the presentation of the PFC Littleton Non-Commissioned Officer Award for Electronics Maintenance Excellence. The winner of the PFC Littleton NCO Award for ComElec is Sergeant Charisse A. Mischel, 11th Marine Regiment, 1st Marine Division, 1 Marine Expeditionary Force, Marine Forces Pacific. Next, I'd like to invite to the stage the representatives from our co-sponsors, Brigadier General Thomas, United States Marine Corps, retired, and Colonel Edward Debish, United States Marine Corps, retired, from Tanium, for presentation of the Littleton Staff Non-Commissioned Officer Award for Electronics Maintenance Excellence. The winner of the PFC Littleton Staff NCO Award for Com-Elect is Gunnery Sergeant Aaron R. Mashad, Marine Wing Communication Squadron 18, Marine Air Control Group 18, 1st Marine Aircraft Wing, 1 Marine Expeditionary Force, Marine Forces Pacific. Thank you, Colonel Simmons and Master Gunnery Sergeant Sangster. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the Senior Enlisted Advisor for the Deputy Commandant for Information, Master Gunnery Sergeant Samuel W. Castro, Jr. I would now like to invite Mr. Scott Yucatel, Program Manager and Subject Matter Expert at Troika Solutions, for a presentation of the Information Unit of the Year Award. The winner of the Information Unit of the Year Award is Combat National Mission Team 1, Marine Corps Cyber Warfare Group, Marine Corps Forces Cyberspace Command. Accepting the award is Lieutenant Colonel Brent Cantrell, United States Marine Corps, Lieutenant Commander Colleen Foley, United States Coast Guard, Master Sergeant Nicholas Haro, United States Marine Corps, Staff Sergeant Jason Webb, United States Army. I would now like to invite Mr. Stuart Nachman from Spry Methods on stage for a presentation of the Cyberspace Warfare Officer of the Year Award. The Cyberspace Warfare Officer of the Year is Major Kyle J. Schultz, 13th Marine Expeditionary Unit, 1st Marine Expeditionary Force, Marine Forces Pacific. The Cyberspace Restricted Officer of the Year Award is sponsored by Leidos and is represented by Mr. Brett Hyla. The Information Warfare Restricted Officer of the Year is Chief Officer 2 Travis A. Nichols, Defensive Cyberspace Operations, Internal Defensive Measures, Company A, 6th Communication Battalion, Force Headquarters Group, Marine Corps Forces Reserve. I would now like to invite Mr. Brennan O'Donnell from SVCG on stage for presentation of the Information Civilian of the Year Award. The Information Civilian of the Year is Mr. Derek Ota, G6, G39 Division, Marine Forces Pacific. The Cyberspace Warfare Enlisted Marine of the Year Award is sponsored by Leidos. Once again, please welcome Mr. Brett Hyla for the presentation of this award. The Cyberspace Warfare Enlisted Marine of the Year is Lance Corporal Michael J. Blachniak, 9th Communication Battalion, 1 Marine Information Group, 1 Marine Expeditionary Group, Marine Forces Pacific. Unfortunately, Lance Corporal Blachniak is unable to join us tonight, and we accept this award on his behalf. The Cyberspace Warfare Non-Commissioned Officer of the Year Award is also sponsored by Leidos. The Cyberspace Warfare NCO of the Year is Corporal Michael H. Carnes, Defensive Cyberspace Operation Division, Marine Corps Cyberspace Operations Group, Cyber Command, Marine Forces Cyberspace Command. The Cyberspace Warfare Staff Non-Commissioned Officer of the Year Award is sponsored by Klaus Government. The Cyberspace Staff NCO of the Year is Gunnery Sergeant Robert C. Schmidt, Marine Corps Combat Mission Team 2, Marine Corps Cyberspace Warfare Group, Marine Forces Cyberspace Command. Master Sergeant Nicholas Haro will accept his award on his behalf. I would now like to invite Mr. Luke Wood from Persistent Systems for presentation of the Maritime Space Officer of the Year Award. The Maritime Space Officer of the Year is Captain Stephen P. Bordeaux, II, 13th Marine Expeditionary Unit, 1st Marine Expeditionary Force, Marine Forces Pacific. I would now like to invite Mr. Pat Simmons from the Strategic Resilience Group, LLC, for presentation of the Influence Non-Commissioned Officer of the Year Award. The Influence NCO of the Year is Sergeant Sabrina L. Rudolph, 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit, 3 Marine Expeditionary Force, Marine Forces Pacific. I would now like to invite Mr. Ryan Birchnell from FirstNet Built with AT&T for presentation of the Influence Staff Non-Commissioned Officer of the Year Award. The Influence Staff NCO of the Year is Gunnery Sergeant Wayne Knight Jr., G6, G9 Division, Marine Forces Pacific. I would now like to invite Mantech's representative, Colonel Brian Rideout, United States Marine Corps, retired, for presentation of the Influence Officer of the Year Award. The Influence Officer of the Year is Major Kevin J. Smith, 3rd Marine Littoral Regiment, 3rd Marine Division, 3 Marine Expeditionary Force, Marine Forces Pacific. I would now like to invite Mr. Mark Revor from Amazon Web Services for presentation of the Marine Corps Information Environment Enterprise Technical Leadership Award. The winner of the Marine Corps Information Environment Enterprise Technical Leadership Award is Major Asha Ahmad, 3rd Marine Information Group, 3 Marine Expeditionary Forces, Marine Forces Pacific. For our final award tonight, I would now like to invite to the stage Mr. Joe Kerr from BAE Systems Incorporated for presentation the Marine Corps Information Environment Enterprise Information Awards. The recipient of the McKee Innovation Award is 5th Air Naval Gunfire Liaison Company, 3rd Marine Information Group, 3 Marine Expeditionary Force, Marine Forces Pacific. Accepting the award is Lieutenant Colonel Matthew Ashton, Sergeant Major Junior Diaz, and Sergeant Charles Kennan.
Move up to the front of the stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lieutenant General Sharadi.
Ladies and gentlemen, just another round of applause for all of our awardees. If I could ask them to stand. Thank you to General Henry for those very inspirational words. And thank you for being here tonight, Dee. Also, thank you for telling us that you still use a flip phone. I'm happy that those are still around. I'm not sure how you connect to the network, but okay, that's good. I thought mine was old. Now I know yours is older, so that's good. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the conclusion of the evening. Again, thank all of you for being here. Thank our Marines, family members, and those who have traveled halfway around the world. A lot of Marines from Okinawa and Hawaii. And just safe travels home, and farewells and following seas until the next time. Semper Fidelis.